Now, what I've just seen always makes my heart beat a little bit faster. And I'm also just preparing myself for the disappointment when it's not in one piece. But oh my goodness me, I tell you what, seeing something like this just poking out of the mud there, it just fills me with a wonderful kind of joy. Just seen what I think is a coin down here. See if you can see it. It's just down here. I expect you can see it now. Just there. I wonder if it's going to have some detail on it. Oh yes, yes it does. Oh, I think it might be foreign. Does that say 5 cents? Who's that? Is that Napoleon? It says Vittorio Emanuele, Italy. Wow, an Italian coin. Excellent. And can we see the date there? It's very, very faint, but I think it's 1880, possibly 1881. Down here, there's some glass, look. It could be part of an onion bottle. I mean, maybe the neck of an onion bottle. Look at that lovely colour. Beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? I hope it comes out as well when you're watching it as what it's like now as I'm looking at it. That beautiful blue. Let's see what's underneath here. Oh, yes, looks like a neck, doesn't it? The neck of an onion bottle. Where's your body? Where's your body? Very nice. I love finding parts of onion bottles. Looks like it might have the cork in, actually. Do you know what? I'm going to keep that. And looks like we've got some wearer wear here. See that giveaway stripe there, that yellow line. Yellow and greeny. See how much there is. So nice. So nice, isn't it? Once upon a time, these were in somebody's kitchen. Back in Georgian times, or even pre-Georgian. Oh, here's a big piece. Oh my gosh, what's this? Ooh. Oh, look, part of the handle. Look, there's yet another scrumptious piece of pottery down here. Look at this. Oh, this looks nice. Lovely bit of colour in the mud. Whew. There we go. Do you know, I would love to find an intact one of these to actually use in my kitchen. And that's not likely to happen on the Thames, but maybe, I don't know, maybe in an antique shop or something. Oh, that is so beautiful. Now down there, I've seen what looks as if it could be part of a tile. Absolutely stunning. Just there, look. See it? Oh, yeah, just look at the colours on that. Yes, now that does look like part of a tile. Possibly 17th, 18th century. I'm not absolutely certain. I will check, but what a glorious array of colours there. Stunning. The geese like it too. Hi! Can I see your babies? Now, what I've just seen always makes my heart beat a little bit faster. And I'm also just preparing myself for the disappointment when it's not in one piece. But oh my goodness me, I tell you what, seeing something like this just poking out of the mud there, it just fills me with a wonderful kind of joy. And I just want to savour this moment of anticipation. Look at this glass. You can tell it's old. There's also a bit here. Oh my gosh, is there going to be like a whole bottle there? Or is it just going to be a fragment? Place your bets now. Place your bets now. And let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Is it going to be a tiny little piece? Is it going to be a tiny little piece? Is it going to be a larger piece? This is why I love mudlarking, because every now and again you come across something like this and it's just so exciting. Oh my gosh, so far so good. I mean, look, we can see that the neck is broken there, but you know, I did just find a neck. I don't know if it's from this one, but look, so far there's a nice bulbous bit there. It looks like a red onion, doesn't it? Look at that beautiful iridescence. Okay, do you know what? It's not an onion. Could be a mallet, could be part of a mallet bottle. And if it's just part of a mallet bottle, I will be very happy. It's been safely cushioned in this mud for centuries. Look at that. Look at that. Oh look, something's come out at the same time. Just next to it, and oh goodness me, look at this. So you see this piece of pottery here, and it's actually imprinted the design on the mud. See it there? Isn't that incredible? Goodness. Oh, that is just the imprint of history, isn't it? Incredible. Oh, back to this bottle. Oh my gosh, it's coming out. Oh, look at this. Look. That is stunning. Oh my goodness. That's absolutely stunning. Well, that has made my day. That's made my day. Yes, so the neck is missing, but still an absolutely beautiful example of what I believe to be a pretty early mallet bottle. But I'll find out exactly how old it is when I consult my Well, when I consult my friends and also my bottle charts. Woo! Well, thank you very much for accompanying me on that exciting adventure. Oh my goodness, the tide is coming in. Let's take a moment to just appreciate this cluster of gorgeousness here, crowned by this splendid, albeit broken, mallet bottle. And this, which I'm not too sure of yet, either the handle from a pot or the neck of something. I'm thinking more likely the handle of something, a cooking pot maybe, and other various beautiful bits of pottery dating back to Georgian or even pre-Georgian times. Absolutely amazing. What a beautiful mudlark. What can I say? Now, this neck, of course, does not fit on this bottle. Unfortunately, would be lovely if it did, but I'll just have to keep my eyes open for a suitable little neck and see if I can do something to build that neck up. I've just seen a coin over there. Oh, what's this first? Nothing. Is it going to be a modern 2p? No, I don't think so. Irish, dated 1980. Yeah, a 1980 2p. Nice. Makes a change from the usual modern 2p. Now I expect you can see what has just caught my eye. This here, a tantalising pipe stem poking out of the mud. And what's on the end of it? Okay, the initial tug test tells me that there's a little bit of resistance there, so unless there's a little crab holding on to the end of the stem, that's quite a good sign. There could be a bowl or part of a bowl. Shall we see? I mean, look, it could be very disappointing. I've been fooled before. But, oh, there's definitely something there, look. There's definitely something. Question is, what? Hooray! It's a whole pipe. Okay, I'll be honest. I was hoping there may be some kind of decoration on there. It looks pretty plain. Let's just rinse it off and see. It looks like a Victorian style pipe from about 1840 or so. And oh, what have we got on there? Well, we've got a nice little seam of like little leaves there to cover up the seam of the moulding process. And there you go. This has been in the mud for, you know, nearly 200 years, and it's still in such good condition. Isn't that incredible? And that colour will fade very soon until it's all this colour. And of course, I like to wonder who last held it and who last, held it in his hand or her hand, and what they were thinking. Now, what's this, I wonder? What was that? Stop, start. What do you reckon? So I've just bumped into some friends, and this is Buster.
So I found a 1649 Commonwealth coin, and it's silver. And
How did you feel when you found that?
it was under a huge rock.
Yeah.
And then Dad was shouting, "Come!" And then I was like, "What is it?" And then it was just a huge. It was small, and it was in really good condition, and it looked silver, and it was silver.
Wow, that sounds so exciting. Did you clean it up a little bit when you got home? Yeah. Amazing. And what would you really love to find if you had a choice of something special that you could find?
Another lead toy.
A lead toy, would you? Would you like to find a lead toy?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We've already found one in the wharf, but I want to find another one.
Ah, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Buster, for telling me about the coin. Maybe you can send me a photo of it and then we can show everyone.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And this is Buster's dad, Kush.
Hello, yeah.
And you found something that sounds really intriguing.
Yeah, so last week I came for an evening mudlark and looked down, there was something stuck to a rock and I thought it was a gold coin, so I got very excited. I prized it away and I looked at it and I realised, oh no, it looks like a token. But then when I cleaned it up a bit, it said Jack Dempsey, who was the heavyweight boxing champion in America in sort of, I think 1919 to 1926, something like that. But he was promoting a Universal Pictures film, which I think was in America, and he apparently only came to England once. There was a promoter, I think, and it was in the Brighton Dome in 1926. He came over with lots of sports stars from around the world, and they did charity exhibition sporting things. And so he only came here once, so I don't know why it was in the Thames, but yeah, apparently it's quite a rare token.
Wow.
And it's from 1924.
So interesting. I love it when you find something that you can find a little backstory to.
Definitely, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's very good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, did
Oh,
you
that is
just find a
That
pipe?
is really cool.
That-
Look at the stem on that. Oh my
That's
gosh,
brilliant.
that's amazing.
Well done, can I have a look? Oh wow, look, you can
You know how much Nicola
you can
likes
see,
extractions.
yeah, absolutely. You can see it's where it's been smoked because it's all black there. That's really nice. That's like a Victorian pipe.
Well
Congratulations.
done. Oh, well done, mate.
Wow.
Oh, no way. There you go.
Excellent. Well, I hope you both go on to have a brilliant evening and that you find some good treasures. You're doing pretty well already, aren't you?
Yeah. You found a basketball and a pipe.
I
You did have to climb. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much for sharing those
You're very welcome.
stories with us. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now look at this here. This beautiful fragment of pottery, transferware, probably Victorian. But isn't that lovely? That's going to make a beautiful sail for a ceramic boat. What do you reckon? That's what we've got here. This stone stood out a little bit to me because it's not your usual kind of Thames stone. Look at that. A huge amethyst. Wouldn't that be nice? I wonder how that got there. I think it's a good stone for a stone in the sunshot. And do you know what? The sun is looking gorgeous today. Here it is. So nice and smooth. Kind of stone that it's nice to have in your pocket to just kind of grab hold of every now and again. Now, I often find teeth on the foreshore, but look at these. Who knows what these are? Some of you will, because actually I found these before on 2 occasions. They're very odd looking. They are definitely teeth. And these are pharyngeal teeth from the throat of a fish. And they're quite fascinating. Did you know that? Did you know that some fish have teeth in their throat? Hi everyone, how are you doing? It's great to see you here, as always. I hope that wherever you're watching from in the world, that you're in good health and in good spirits. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope that the pharyngeal teeth find didn't put you off your breakfast too much, or your dinner, depending on what time it is where you're watching from. And I'm just trying to put them together again, actually. This one's just fallen apart, the little tooth is coming out. But this is the third one of these that I've found over the years, and the first one I found, I had no idea what it was. It just looked like a very strange set of teeth. And when I found out that some fish have teeth in their throat, I found it quite horrifying, actually. These are probably from a carp, and of course they're used for crushing the food as it gets sucked in through their mouths. So, maybe you knew that, but if you didn't, well, there you go. You've learned something new to entertain people with at the next dinner party that you go to, or maybe not. Anyway, before I start, I just need to tell you about this little disaster that just happened. I was sitting here getting all ready to film this part of the video, and I heard something going on in the other room. Now, if you're one of my regular viewers, you will be familiar with my little visiting squirrels and foxes. Well, anyway, I heard this crashing and banging in the other room, so I went to have a look, and the squirrel was actually in the room, and obviously in quite a panic. So I had to shut the door and try and get to the window and open it up really wide so the squirrel could jump out before he just went around smashing everything in the room. I'm very happy to tell you that it's all fine now. The squirrel just sort of shot out of the window like a rocket. I've never seen a squirrel move so fast. And a good lesson for me to make sure that I always lock very securely the little cat flap that I use to feed the nuts to the squirrel through. So, oh gosh, a bit of a panic there for a while. Anyway, lots to talk to you about today. And I found quite a bit of pottery, which is always a thrill. And so stick around for later, because you will have the opportunity to meet my friend Adrian Brough from Cornwall, who is, amongst other things, a very, very good potter. And when I was visiting in September, when I visited Cornwall, I racked Adrian's brains about a few questions to do with pottery that I've been wanting to find out the answer to. So stay around for that, because you might find it really interesting. But before we go to Cornwall to meet Adrian, let's just have a look at a few of the finds that you saw me pluck from the Thames mud. And we're going to start with coins. So we've got this coin here, which is a 5 centesimi. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm trying to say it in a nice Italian accent. 5 or cinco. I don't speak Italian, so I'm not sure what 5 is in Italian. I know what it is in French, but this is not a French coin. So anyway, 5 centesimi, and it's Vittorio Emanuele II, dated 1861. And Vittorio Emanuele II was King of Italy from 1861 to 1878. The other coin, slightly more recent, is a 2p piece from Ireland, dated 1980. It's a really pretty coin. It was issued in 1971 and minted up until the year 2000. And on one side it's got a Celtic bird, and on the other side it has a harp. So now we're going to look at the bottle. This rather stunning bottle. It's funny, isn't it? The person who not lost it, but threw this bottle away at least over 200 years ago, they would never have imagined how excited somebody would get in the future finding their old discarded bottle. But as many of you will know if you watch my videos, I do love finding old bottles, and this one is a lovely example of a mallet bottle. And of course it's missing the neck, and I had hoped to get it restored before I made this video, but I didn't have the time. But what I hope to do is sort of cut that bit off there and have it restored. I just need to find a suitable neck to stick on the top. Actually, the neck that I found during that outing, I've discovered that if I sort of pop it over there, like, well, let's try and do it. If I put it here like that, you can kind of see, you know, with a little bit of imagination, what the bottle might have looked like. Maybe I could use this neck. I just need to cut both of these pieces down and then stick them together. So watch this space on that and I'll update you on the progress. But when I found this bottle, I wanted to date it and find out a little bit more about it. And so I consulted one of my favourite books that was given to me by a very kind friend in America a few years ago, and it's actually Artifacts of Colonial America, and it's written by Ivor Noel Hume, who was an archaeologist in the 50s and 60s, and he wrote Treasure in the Thames. And actually, if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. It's a really beautiful book to read, and it's got a lot about mudlarking in it. But even though this book focuses on things found in America, it has some very, very useful diagrams dating bottles just like that. So I had a look, and as you can see, there's a chart here with the different shapes and the ages, starting right from the earliest sort of onion bottles there, and then you can see how the shape evolves over the years, and after a while they all start looking a little bit the same, as you can see. But I believe that mine is pretty much like that one, really. What do you think? Which would indicate that it is roughly mid-18th century. So this one here is from 1751, and I'm thinking that's probably the same date. I often also consult my good friend Steve Camp about bottles and their ages. Steve is a member of the Society of Thames Mudlarks, and he is very, very good on bottles as well as lots of other things. So Steve, if you're watching this video, please let me know if I am right in thinking that that bottle, this one here, dates to about 1751. But just look at the gorgeous iridescence on it. Isn't it lovely? So I'm going to add that to my collection and hopefully restore it to make it look as good as new. And now for the pottery. You'll have seen that during that outing I found some really beautiful fragments of pottery, some of them dating possibly right back to the 1600s. So obviously that area was used as a dump hundreds of years ago. And whenever I see these glorious pieces of pottery and those pieces of tile, it evokes in my imagination the people that made them years and years ago, the potters that made them, the people that used them to cook with, the people on whose tables they were full of steaming pies and vegetables. And I've always thought that it would be really nice to have a replica cooking dish or a replica plate, for example, in the style of some of this pottery that we find along the River Thames. So recently, when I was visiting Cornwall to attend my very good friends Adrian and Sue's wedding anniversary, Adrian is a potter. He's also a fisherman, a surfer and a musician. He's an all-round great guy, but he is a potter. He's been making pots since he was very, very young. His dad was also a potter, and so what better person to ask about making a commission for me of a nice cooking pot or a cooking plate, and also to ask a few questions generally about a pottery. For example, Stoneware. I'm always saying, oh, you know, a stoneware ink pot or a stoneware ginger beer bottle, but I never really gave too much thought as to why it's called stoneware. And so this is just one of the questions that Adrian and I discussed during my visit to his studio, which I was lucky enough to go and spend some time in. So come along with me now and meet Adrian.
I'm Adrian Brough, lifelong potter. My dad was a potter as well. You can see a picture of my dad up on the wall there. So when people ask me how long I've been a potter, I just say I grew up in a pottery. I make everything here in the studio on these wonderful old traditional leech kick wheels that were designed for the leech pottery in the 1930s. And they're just such peaceful, beautiful things to work on. All my ingredients are local, the clay's local, and I work in two styles. I work in stoneware, which is this, and we'll talk about the difference between stoneware and earthenware in a minute. And I also do decorative earthenware. There's a piece of decorative earth in the kiln waiting to be fired, and we'll see some more examples of that in a minute. So yeah, those are the two styles I work in.
We find a lot of stoneware on the Thames, such as old ginger beer bottles and things like that, but actually I never really thought about why it's called stoneware.
Well, that was an interesting question you put to me, because you asked why is it called stoneware, and the basic bottom line of it is you're melting stone to make the pot. So all pottery and clay and ceramics starts its life as some kind of granite type rock. So all the components for clay is in granite. And then when you want to make a glaze that's vitreous, you need to melt the stone. So that's why it's called stoneware in a nutshell. Earthenware, you sinter the clay. And sintering, without getting too technical, is a process where you heat something to make a solid and the particles stick together. But then it leaves open spaces, so earthenware can be porous. Stoneware, you take it to a higher temperature, probably around 1280 to 1300 Celsius, and the particles in the clay fuse together rather than stick together. And when it fuses together, it becomes like glass, so any liquids you put inside can't escape. So for stoneware ginger beer bottles, they need to be vitreous, otherwise your product's going to leak out. That's the bottom line. We did also speak about these type of jugs that have been made since Roman times. These are still being made in Portugal. These are earthenware, and they don't have a ring, they're soft. So there's gaps between the particles in these pots. And the advantage of that is you can put water in a warm climate, and then the water slightly sweats through the clay, and the outside is slightly moist, and then the wind or air will go past by and wick the temperature away and keep it cool. So it was an advantage to have porous earthenware pots to store water in. So that's a classic example, earthenware, stoneware.
So can you show us some of what you've been making recently?
Recently, yeah, I've been making this sort of stoneware. I've also been making some slab pottery in stoneware. And this glaze on here is made from ash out of our wood stove. And ash makes a good glaze because it's got a high silica content, so it really flows, and you get some really nice natural colours with it. These are some dry pots that I've just thrown, and they're waiting to be painted in my other style. And you'll see those further on in the video, because I have some finished examples in the showroom. So I paint on this dry clay surface. The next stage, if you just follow me around to my large electric kiln, is they've been decorated, and the first firing is called bisque. So this now, it's not the finished object, it's actually a low-fired porous finish that will accept the glaze. So the next process is to glaze that and put it back in the kiln. This kiln will go, this is my stoneware kiln and my earthenware kiln, this will fire to 1300 Celsius. Wow. Which is approaching white heat. But if you want to melt the likes of flint, quartz, Cornish stone, you've got to go to extreme temperatures to melt it. But that's when the bodies fuse and it becomes vitreous. So if you want a flower vase, it's got to be vitreous, otherwise the water will just run through it. So that's why we use stoneware. But all clays are basically made of the same basic ingredients, but in different quantities, depending whether you want to sinter for earthenware or fuse for stoneware. There's one pot over here that is also the first stage. This is just dry clay that's been painted.
I love that. So when you fire it, it will take on a shiny
Yeah, and the
finish.
colours change.
Yeah,
Because the colour on the back of that mackerel will end up green. It's copper carbonate,
yeah.
so copper goes green.
Yeah, I love your fish. And you do a lot of fishing yourself, don't you?
I do, yeah. Yeah, it's my second favourite hobby, besides pottery and surfing.
Pottery, surfing and fishing.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
it sounds amazing.
This is my colour palette here.
Yes.
So these are metal oxides, that's cobalt, that's copper. These are manufactured colours. And these are the brushes I use. So you can see they've been around for a while. And they've developed a certain shape that I like. That one's my background filling in brush. That's another background brush with a fan. And that's the that's the brush I've painted miles and miles and miles of lines with. It's just like a very fine lining brush,
Yeah.
so you have to have a steady hand. This is my rustic little showroom, which used to be a pigsty when we first moved in here. So it's all been renovated, and it's made a nice little showroom. Please come in. So it's an assault on the eyes. There's so much work in here.
Because I've got one of these. That's like your kind of rock
Yeah.
pool inspired.
Yeah, which is also made on the wheel, so it's thrown
Yeah.
melted. Yeah.
So this is stoneware.
That's stoneware. That's earthenware. The one with the mackerel on. The one behind on the wall is one of my really early earthenware plates, so you can see the red clay around the rim in the background.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of years in the garden and I fell out of love with it, but I'm back in love with it now. So it's developed a nice patina from being outside. I was just showing you the jug in the studio that I'd thrown, and this is how it ends up basically. So this is really my more commercial end work, and they sell one in Porthleven. Being a fishing town, we've been to Porthleven this morning, had a look around, and you know, this is one of the staple catches in Porthleven is the mackerel, the humble mackerel, but it's a great eating fish if it's day fresh. So yeah. And there's another version there with a little fishing boat on, with Gadrevi Lighthouse, which is in the bay. Me and Nick are going to go there one day on our kayaks.
Yes,
we
we
did that.
spoke about
Yeah.
that, didn't we? I've always wanted to visit that
I've been
lighthouse.
there a couple of times. It's an experience. Up on the wall here, there's some very traditional slipware.
Oh yes, now
This is based roughly on a Thomas Toff piece. So all this slip trail decoration is something I sort of studied at college, and then a similar one over there with the brown sort of classic slipware, brown and yellow. That's a complete crossover because that's actually slipware, but it's stoneware. So I've used the same processes for earthenware slipware, but I've turned it into a stoneware piece. So you can see it's an old one, that really high fired, but the slip stands out. It's really tactile.
I love that. We find a lot of slipware on the Thames, and I've always wanted to have a Staffordshire slipware dish. So I may have to inquire about a commission later. And you do commissions, don't you?
I do commissions, yeah. So this is an evolution from very copied traditional slipware, and then I've evolved it into this. Not long after I left college, this is a really early plate, so you can see the clay is red, and it's got a layer of slip on top. But instead of trailing the decoration now, I started using a line with my brush. So this is still slipware. Then there's the next evolution, probably about 10 years on from that one. And then the fish have kind of really got quite fine and intricate now, like on that vase over there as well. But I do like carrying the two styles on because some people aren't keen on overly decorated ceramics, and this is much more traditional, maybe Japanese, Korean style, a much simpler decoration, which is something I really enjoy because it takes me away from the line and the painstaking work that goes into that. This is a bit more spontaneous. So for some people, they don't like that, they like this, and it works the other way as well. So it's good to have both areas covered really. But this is my favourite style of work at the moment. This is based on a fuchsia, and it's done in a decoration technique called wax resist. So you put a base layer of glaze on, and then you do the decoration in wax, and then you pour the next glaze over the top, and the top glaze runs off the decoration and leaves it. So it looks much more fluid.
Now, you did also make a pot for the king,
I did.
Did
yeah,
you not?
I did indeed, yeah. So I was approached by the Royal Cornwall Agricultural Association. They asked me to make a harvest jug, a celebration jug for Prince Charles when he was still patron of the Royal Cornwall Show. So it depicts Cornish beasts, cattle, sheep, pigs, chickens, and I got a little bit of everything else in Cornwall. I got a chuff on it, I got a mackerel on it. So there'll be a photo to see.
And how was he? Was he nice?
He was really, really nice. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. He was really nice. Very interested in the pottery because he's done some pottery. Spent quite a bit of time talking to me, even though Camilla was tugging his arm, trying to get him away. So she was worried about the time, but he was, no, I'm going to talk to the potter. So it was really good. And he said to me, what am I supposed to do with this? Because the jug was big, it was 2 foot tall. What am I supposed to do with this? And I said, well, fill it with cider, Your Highness. Drink the cider, then put your umbrellas in it. And he had a really good laugh. He was a fun guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
really good. So I had an email from a journalist recently, and he asked me if he could do an article about my work in this really nice publication called New Ceramics. It's actually published in Germany, but they produce it in several different languages, and they came and did a great feature. There's a picture of me on the wheel there and some of my finished work. So they have a website. It'd be worth looking up if you want to read the article. There's a lot of information in there that we can't get across now about,
So you
how
can
I
read it
trained.
online?
You can read it online,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's called New Ceramics.
New Ceramics
So
magazine.
hopefully we'll post the link to that as
Yeah,
well.
I
It's
will.
well worth a look.
And actually, where can people find your work?
Well, I have a website,
Yeah.
which no doubt there'll be a link in the film.
There will.
And I'm also a really nice gallery in Porthleven that they probably represent my work better than I do because they've got a young guy running the social media. So I'd recommend a look at that as well. It's called Cornish Art Porthleven.
Cornish
So
Art.
we'll put a link in.
Okay, and you've got an Instagram site, haven't you, as well? Thank you so much, Adrian, for showing us your beautiful studio and your pottery and for answering some of my questions. I really appreciate it. And so don't forget, everyone, do go on over and check out Adrian's website and also the website for Cornish Art in Porthleven. And you can also follow Adrian on Instagram. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Buster and to Kush for sharing their finds with us. I hope that you went on to have a really good afternoon's lark together. And Buster, keep up the great work. It's brilliant to see you looking so enthusiastic and inspired. So I think that's about it, everyone. Thank you again for watching. Now don't forget, if you want to try mudlarking yourself, be aware that you do need a permit from the Port of London Authority. And actually on that note, it's worth me mentioning now that this week the Port of London Authority did open up again applications for mudlarking permits. They've actually been on hold for the last 2 years. The PLA ceased issuing new permits. And so now we've got to see what happens. There is a little bit of uncertainty about the new system because the consequences are that those people that have held mudlarking permits for quite a long time and who generally used to renew them at the end of 3 years for another 3 years, that won't be possible anymore. Permits will now just last for 1 year, and after the year is up, you will then have to go on a waiting list and reapply again. So obviously, there's a little bit of uncertainty in the mudlarking world at the moment, but I don't know any more about it than anybody else at this point. But of course, I will update you. But I want to reiterate that you do need to have a permit to go mudlarking on the River Thames. It's also World Mental Health Awareness Day today. So today, as on any day, I just want to say again that do prioritise your mental health. Make sure you take time out for yourself And remember, it's okay not to be okay. And if you're struggling, please reach out to somebody. Don't go through it all alone. So I am very much looking forward to being back again very soon with more adventures, looking in the mud for history and to sharing stories with you related to the objects that I find. So in the meantime, take care. I'm sending you lots of love from here in London. And I now am just going to go back to Cornwall, because when you're in Cornwall, there's just one other thing that you absolutely have to do. So I'll see you there. So what are we doing today then?
Getting shacked.
Going surfing.
I can see a little squirrel there after breakfast. Now, the terrible tragedy is that I've run out of large peanuts. Look at the condensation on the window. You can't see in properly, can you? Say hello to everybody. So what I'm going to have to do is give him or her, is that, there's a girl out, oh yeah, that's definitely a her. So I'm going to have to give her a little spoonful of other peanuts. And yesterday I did this, and she tried to take the whole spoon. I'll put some in here like this. She tried to take the spoon and run away with it. So let's see how she's going to behave today. I have to be careful, because if she pushes, she could just come right in. So, right, here we go. Right, there we are. Look, there you are. There you are, look. Oh dear. It's a case of catch the peanut. Oh, there she goes. Right, shopping list time. I have to buy some proper peanuts. Have a good day, everyone. See you soon.